You know, this dude just made a really good point.
Pascal, you are now rocking.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Pascal back at it again with another pop-up video. Be sure to hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button if this is your first time checking out this show. And please, of course, comment down below. Let me know what you think about this particular topic right here. Anyway, let's jump into this bad boy. This one's a little bit tricky, but I feel like I've already kind of had this conversation before. Now, there was an officer in Portland, Oregon, that sat down and gave his 2 cents, I guess, during a hearing in regards to his own experience going head-to-head or face-to-face with the protests and some of the protesters in Portland, Oregon. And he said a little bit something like this.
I got to see folks that really do want change, like the rest of us, that have been impacted by racism. And then I got to see those people get faded out by people that have no idea what racism is all about. Never experienced racism. They don't even know that the tactics that they are using are the same tactics that were used against my people. A lot of times, someone of color, black, Hispanic, Asian, come up to the fence and directly want to talk to me. Hey, what do you think about George Floyd? What do you think about what happened about this? I go up to the fence, someone white comes up, F the police, don't talk to him. That was the most bizarre thing because I could see it coming. I even had a young African American girl tell me, why is it you guys aren't talking to us? I said, honestly, this is now the 23rd day of doing it. Every time I try to have a conversation with someone that looks like me, someone white comes up and blocks them and tells them not to talk. And then right when I said that, this white girl popped right in front of her. She said, he just said that was going to happen. I said, told you. I told you. And she looked at the girl and said, why'd you do that? And I straight up, I said, I've been called the N-word. She's been called the N-word. Why are you talking to me this way?
I can definitely see his point. All right. There is a lot of things that are going on within the Black Lives Matter movement. Like he said in the very beginning of the whole thing, he said, hey, in the very beginning, it seemed like there was a certain type of energy, and then now it's that things would thin out. That energy would thin out, and a different type of energy would be in the room or be in the presence of this quote unquote protest, And I feel like that's a thing that I've even seen with my own 2 eyes. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep it straight funky with y'all. I've been to protests. I've been to certain demonstrations that were peaceful, y'all, that were absolutely peaceful. But then I've also seen protests that got very, very vile, very violent, very bad, very pointless. Okay. Now, the thing is, yeah, like I've always said over 100 million times before, I am definitely 110% behind the Black Lives Matter movement when it is peaceful, when it is a demonstration, when we are talking and trying to move things forward in a positive motion. But when it turns into the other side, when it turns into this negative stuff, that's when I start going, I feel a certain type of way about it. Now, he's talking about the white liberals and white people that are involved with the Black Lives Matter movement. And I have my own 2 cents and my own story about my own experience seeing white liberals being involved with the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, I've seen 2 different sides, okay? I've seen one side where they're just part of the movement. They're doing a peaceful protest. They're putting their hands up. They're chanting. They're saying no justice, no peace. They're doing everything that everyone else is doing in unison. Then I have seen the other side of the fence where I have seen literally people, white protesters, losing their damn minds, using this as an opportunity for their own personal agenda to go off on cops, go off on the authority for some weird reason. And it seems it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel genuine at all. It feels like they're just there for chaos, to create chaos for chaos sake, instead of being there in unison and protesting in unison about this. I've talked about this on my live shows a couple times, already, where I have seen, and I'm saying I've seen both people, I've both seen both black and white people that have done either the peaceful side or I've seen the chaotic side. But I do have one story to tell you. All right. So one of the first protests that I attended was, a while back, right before the riots started here in my city. And the thing that I saw, which I found very, very interesting, was there was a whole bunch of white people all up in the cops' faces, screaming at them, calling them every four-letter word they could come up with, violently gesticulating. Some dude was acting like he was peeing on one of the cops. This is a white guy acting like he was peeing on the dude's boot with like some water. He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and just trying to cause chaos. There were girls, in a corner somewhere twerking in front of some cops, like dancing up all up on them and everything. And I'm sitting there going like, where's the focus, y'all? Is this just chaos for the sake of chaos? Are you just enjoying having anarchy for anarchy's sake? Or are you actually in this for the real deal? Are you really here to help push the agenda of trying to stop the injustices that are going on? Are you protesting on behalf of George Floyd? And I would have to say, no. These were just crazy people that wanted to be crazy for the sake of being crazy. The people that get together and peacefully protest are completely different from the other people that are out there. Now, I get it with what this particular officer is saying. Like I'm saying, he does have a point. He does have a very good point. Even in that particular protest that I just told you guys about, I went down the street because I was just like, I left. I was like, this is some BS. There's real quick. They had a whole bunch of white people in front staring at it, yelling at the cops and all that, causing chaos, right? But then what was really crazy is that after that, I said, after all that, I was like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I really can't. I can't do this. I'm out. I started walking away, right? And as I'm walking down the street, I see a black police officer at one of the intersections. And I went to him and I said, "Hey man, how many of these have you been seeing?" And we're just having a full-on civil conversation about everything that's going on. For a fact that this officer was feeling what everybody else was feeling in regards to what happened with George Floyd. He felt like things were unjust, but he didn't feel like he had a place to really say anything. Also, on top of that, in the background, he has a whole bunch of crazy, sorry to say this, but a whole bunch of crazy white people losing their damn minds, drinking, smoking weed, twerking on his other fellow officers, on his brothers and sisters, dudes that were just screaming, spitting at these cops and everything. So it gets to a place where it's like, hey, just like we say that there are bad apples in the police force, there are bad apples with the protesters as well, So I commend the officer for pointing this thing out because it is very true. There's a lot of black people out there that are supporting the Black Lives Matter movement that are just trying to get the word out there. But then there is some bad apples out there that are using this whole movement and the protests to take advantage of it, to start chaos, to start violence. And there's no reason for that. Now, you could call that Antifa. You can call that whatever you want. You could say it's Marxists and socialism and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. No, I just call it a lot of really bad people trying to capitalize on a moment that's supposed to be made for change, but they're wanting to turn it into anarchy and chaos. Anyway, comment down below. Let me know what you think. I would love to know what you think on this situation. What are your thoughts on what the officer said? Do you think that the white liberals need to, back off? White protesters need to back off? Is this their fight to have? Or Do you think they just need to sit in the back seat and just sit there and watch the ride, enjoy the ride? Anyway, be sure to hit that like button down below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. And yeah, guys, I will be on live at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time tonight. So be on the lookout for that. We'll be doing some call-ins and some conversation. Anyway, I got to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys in the next video. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.
Pascal, you are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild.